United States through, I mean, there's a public school movement and that sort of thing. The first art program to be part of a university was at Yale University, and they absorbed an art school into their university, and they were the first school to have art as part of the curriculum. Actually, Houghton predates that somewhat, but it's if you look at the earliest transcripts from students at Houghton, they were taking art courses back in the turn of the century. But in terms of public schools, I'm not quite sure when it first started to make its appearance, but it would probably be around that time, part of the 20th century, as an option for kids in school, not as a requirement.
It's a collaborative process.
Storyboard sketches are turned into animators' rough drawings. Then, cleanup artists transform these sketches into pristine final form. The effects animators add shadows, smoke, and other natural elements. And the background painters add the setting. Finally, the cells are painted, and the scene comes to life.
Will you come down to dinner?
Definitely unique.
We started off with the design of Belle's dress, which is, all in sort of shiny gold. The light plays across her dress and moves with her, and it does give a really nice feeling of light. And then the Beast, we've put in sort of a royal blue and with gold trim, and then very dark black pants.
Just a little change.
The great romantic moment of the film. One of the most sophisticated and complicated scenes in Disney's legendary animated history is the ballroom sequence, which takes place in the Beast's castle.
I wanted the audience to just kind of get lost in it, to take you into this place and take you where you haven't been before, in animation terms anyway. To do something that we haven't done before, to kind of sweep you around. And it's something that you can do a little easier in live action, where you can sweep the camera around and you can move with the characters and around and through the characters.
And that's something that's more difficult to do in animation because we're pretty much locked with
limited to
flat pieces of artwork. And so the more we started developing the sequence with our storyboard artists, the more we started to think it would be really great if we could generate this ballroom in the computer.
So we built this ballroom as a set, and we can fly the camera around, much like you can in a live-action environment, and select camera angles. And it really allows you to create this wonderful, sort of fanciful environment.
Putting the hand-drawn characters on top of it, it was a little challenge in itself, because any animator will tell you that the drawing in any perspective other than really kind of flat on is more difficult. And we weren't just drawing in a different perspective, but changing it constantly.
Right.
It's another level of movement and sophistication, and hopefully for the audience, another level of involvement where you feel like you're really there with them.
Bittersweet and strange, finding you can change, learning you were wrong. Certain as the sun, rising in the east, tale as old as time, song, rhyme, beauty and the beast.
Well, I think it's a terrible idea. I mean, obviously, I had, actually, when I taught for those 3 years in high school, I had a lot of kids that were struggling as teenagers, just struggling. I had one student that when I would talk to him, I would notice that he had these very prominent scars on his wrist where he tried to kill himself. And in his case, I think art very, very specifically gave him a place where he could flourish. Another kid was in trouble with the law, and art was a place where he just felt better about himself. And that's not just to say that art is only therapeutic, but I just think that the way math and science has framed the questions in our society, I think, is a problem. They've dominated the discussion, and there's no evidence to suggest that we're better off as people with degrees in math and science. I mean, they're important, and when I'm driving over a bridge, I'm always hoping the guy who built this bridge did well in math. But when we look at culture, we look at the arts. That's the barometer of a culture.
Ever since I've been a little kid, art has been the one thing that has always calmed me down, has always made my day better, and a school without art is like not having a school at all. It's like a shell. There's nothing really...
Basically, expression and like how I can get certain feelings across that I've never been able to express in any other media.
It helps me express myself without talking, but using...
Art at school, for me, is a chance to relax and create things that you don't get to in other classes. English and writing is another rare opportunity to sort of branch out and do things, but all the other classes at school, gym and math and science, you just sort of do your coursework and you don't get to actually express yourself at all.
Art means to me a chance to show my individuality, and not just that, but show what's in my mind and give what I feel to other people, and make this world a place that's so happy to live in. And just
lately, schools have been stressing only key classes that are state tested, like English and writing, and you have to be proficient, which is my least favorite word because it doesn't really mean anything. It just means that you can pass a test. It doesn't mean that you're particularly intelligent or that you're capable of going out into the actual world. It just means you know how to fill in bubbles correctly.
It can't be taken away. I mean, it's a chance for people to show who they are. It's what they are. It's what they're made of. That's what art is.
Art is everything, so how can you take away something that is everywhere?